And just to give you a snapshot of what Upson International is, it's basically the largest computer and IT product retailer carrying retail brands. This is what makes it very, very interesting. Brands like Octagon, I'm sure you've seen that in a lot of the malls, the largest malls in the Philippines. Micro Valley, they also have Gadget King. Hey guys, so in this video, I want to talk about an up-and-coming IPO, the Upson International Incorporated IPO. And we're going to go about the specifics on the business. What are they? How does the business make money? We're going to talk about bits and pieces of the business so that you get the right information, the IPO also, and a lot of financial information about the company. So you get the right data, the right information, so you get to decide properly based on the merits of this particular company. And everything that I'm discussing here, you can find in their website, which I'll put down in the description below, and you can see all of this from their prospectus, which I'll put links down below so that you get to analyze them as well. And the reason why I'm making this video is so that you can make the right decision based on the right information, and you can have full conviction on why you are coming into it or not, because at the end of the day, what will help you as an investor is that you're coming into this fully informed. Never invest just because you hear it off TV, off a YouTube video, or you hear it off your friend. The best way for you to be able to invest, the best way for you to be able to build conviction is that you take the time to be able to learn and to understand the company, the merits. Because at the end of the day, when you are investing in the stock market, regardless if it's an IPO like this or companies that are already listed in the stock market, you always have to put it from a perspective that you are investing in a business. That being said, I want to share bits and pieces of the details of the IPO. So Upson would be selling 888,157,800 shares, which form part of their firm shares. And breaking it down further, they have 789,473,600, which would be part of their primary shares, and 98,684,200 would form part of its secondary shares. So total that up, that would be their firm offer. And they also have an over-allotment option of 98,684,200 secondary shares. The issue manager, the book runner, and the lead underwriter is First Metro Investment Corporation. And if you've been watching my videos also for quite some time, I've been telling you that it's easier for you to understand a business, a company, if you use it yourself, if you're a customer yourself, because you've seen how it has grown also through the years. And this company is something that I have seen through the years. This is something that I've somehow grew up with also, because just a snippet of it, this is highly connected to technology. Because as you all know, as technology continues to develop and unfold, we need hardware, gadgets, in order for us to be able to use that technology. And just to give you a snapshot of what Upson International is, it's basically the largest computer and IT product retailer carrying retail brands. This is what makes it very, very interesting. Brands like Octagon, I'm sure you've seen that in a lot of the malls, the largest malls in the Philippines. Micro Valley, they also have Gadget King. Their newest brands, Octagon Mobile, and they also own concept stores. I'm sure you know this. Brothers, HP, Acer, and Silvertech. Very, very large and very, very popular brands that most of you that are watching this, you may own bits and pieces of these gadgets in your homes. As our population continues to grow, as more Filipinos become more affluent, have more disposable income, they see the need also to buy and purchase gadgets because it's their first time to be able to buy it, or they're actually upgrading. They will be the customers of these brands, of Upson as a whole, and that's why they're actually seeing growth and expansion for the next 3 to 5 years. So for those who are watching this, if you're investing in the largest computer and IT product retailer, and this is mainly a growth play, a growth investment. You'll be able to see this in their website that the people behind it, Lawrence Lee, Arlene C., Rolando Raval, Marcos Legaspi, Anita Lim, Dennis F. Uy, Ricardo Lee, William Lim, Anthony Thomas Rojas, Chun Bing Uy, Raul Leopando, and Jose Benson make up a very good team that has very, very good foresight in industry trends, supply chain management, and retail format adaptability. If you've been watching my previous videos, I always would talk about invest in the market leader, and they are the largest in their space. And there's a reason why they are the largest in their space also, pretty much because of the people behind the company as well. And I want to say this, that Octagon is a very, very known brand. When I would buy in malls, when I would look for gadgets, when I would want to buy stuff. In the malls where I would be in, Octagon is one of my go-to brands that I would look at first. Somehow, no, as a customer, I know what to expect. I know that there's quality that's there also, and I know that because there's a large selection, I have whatever I would need, there's a big chance that it would be available there. And it's nice also that we have a proxy to IT/tech that's very, very retail. And from a Filipino perspective, it's part of our consumer-driven economy that Filipinos like to buy gadgets, that Filipinos will spend on stuff like this. It's somewhat easier to look at it from that perspective, especially right now that gadgets like this, technology has been in the forefront, especially during the lockdown. People have upgraded stuff. Comment below if you have bought more stuff than what you actually needed because you stayed at home. But even as we've started to reopen, there are some things that because you've bought that gadget already have been part of your lifestyle. So either you will see more customers later on as the need for this continues to expand from a personal retail perspective, or you may see people just continually upgrade as there are more high-tech innovations on this, and they're gonna go to the largest brands like Octagon as well. We asked the company also what makes them very, very different. The reason why I'm saying this, that they're different, is that they're already the market leader, and there's a reason why they are the market leader. There's a reason why they are different, and here are 4 things that make them different. Number 1 is this: they were pretty much hedged, as what I've mentioned earlier, from the pandemic, as a lot of people needed gadgets as they stayed at home. Number 2, when you go to their shops, you have the ability to be able to build your own infrastructure for anything that's computer or IT related in a way that you can buy different gadgets, peripherals, and accessories, that it becomes a one-stop shop. If you look at it also, they have different brands that are totally dispersed where you're buying from one, but essentially you're just buying from one big umbrella. Number 3 is this. I mentioned that they're the market leader, but across the board in the Philippines, they have the largest selection of computer models and IT-related needs. They have around 13,000 SKUs. For those who don't know what SKUs are, they stand for stock keeping units. And it's 13,000 for an IT retailer in the Philippines is very, very large. Number 4 is this, and this also backs up their claim as a market leader. Out of the 17 regions in the Philippines, they're in 16 out of the 17. They have a massive nationwide presence. And what's so nice about them is that you can go to any shop. Their pricing is pretty much uniform. Remember what I said at the start, that this is a company that's going into an IPO that's planning to grow even more. They've already built a template on how good they could possibly be. They plan to grow and build 250 branches more in the next 3 to 5 years. And just to give you perspective on how good they have become over the past years, it took them about 27 years to be able to build 183 branches in the Philippines as of 2021. It takes longer to build and start up, but once you've developed the system, the brand, and competent people behind it, you now have the ability to scale. And young population, more disposable income, and Filipinos generally are spenders more than savers and investors. It's something that you don't actually need to sell very, very hard to Filipinos. I want to walk through some of their financials, and all of this that I'm mentioning is also available in the prospectus and in their website. Check it out down below so that you can make decisions based on the numbers. Again, I'll say this over and over, no matter how much I talk about it here, please take the time to learn, please take the time to study, please don't just buy it just because I discuss it here. It's your money, it's your responsibility, and you must be the one who should build a firm conviction on your investments. One of my styles in investing is that I look at the sales, and what's very, very important for me is that I want the sales to be increasing. So for Upson, this is quite interesting that from 2019, 2020, and 2021, 7.5 billion sales 2019, 8.1 billion 2020. Again, this is what they've mentioned, that in spite of the pandemic, their sales increased because people started to buy more gadgets, and it's very, very consistent. Then 2021, they hit 8.5 billion. So 2019, 2020, 2021, in the midst of the pandemic, sales were up. Now let's take a look at the third quarter of 2022 for Upson. It had 7.2 billion pesos in sales. This is a 10.1% increase from the third quarter sales of 2021. I don't just look at the sales, but I also want to see if the net income is increasing. That's something that's very, very important for me because it tells me also how good the company is in terms of how good they are in managing that sales, that their bottom line is also increasing. Their net income, it's very, very consistent also. 2019, 85 million. 2020, 206 million. 2021, 403 million. So now let's zoom in over for their net income for the third quarter of 2022. They got 400.2 million pesos. This is a 68.8% increase over the same time as the third quarter of 2021. So I think this is interesting because it shows you the consistency of how they have been growing over the past few years, and also the third quarter of 2022 reinforced it further. You want to invest in a company that when you look at their sales, when you look at their income, it's growing. You don't want to invest in a company whose sales and net income is declining, whose sales and net income is stagnant. You want something that's growing, because I'll say this over and over, that when you buy and invest in a stock, you are not earning off what it has done in the past. You are earning off what it could possibly be, and you want something that has a potential to grow even more. They're growing right now, but should they pull it off very, very well in the next 3 to 5 years, that they're gonna expand even more? How could that translate on what their sales and net income will possibly be? Just some additional notes about the company. Upson is projected to have a 3-year compounded annual growth rate of 29.5% and a 5-year CAGR of 23.9%. Looking at the net income going back to 2018, their compounded annual growth rate from 2018 to where we are now is at 78%. And for those who are watching this and you have been a fan of dividends as well, I'm a big fan of dividends. Dividends give you the ability to be able to get cash flow while you're holding on to the stock, and it somehow, you get the ability to treat it like an asset that gives you repetitive cash flow. Their dividend policy rate is up to 30%. Now, this is one of the things that I would normally ask the leadership of the company, or one of the things that's highly important for me every time there's an IPO. I'm sure you also want to know this, that where are the proceeds going? And if you've been following me, I'm a big fan of companies that majority of the proceeds of the IPO will go towards expansion. Because at the end of the day, when you give your money to them, when you invest in them, you know that the money that they will get from you, that you are putting into them, they will turn around and they will put it into something that will bring growth to the company. And as the company grows, you as a shareholder will also benefit from it. Now, that being said, 86% of the entire proceeds of the IPO will go to store expansion. Remember what I've mentioned earlier, that they plan to aggressively grow in the next 3 to 5 years by building 250 plus stores. For them to be able to fund that, this is what the IPO will actually do for them. If you look at the shares that they're trying to sell, the primary shares and the secondary shares, and if you include the over-allotment option, that actually means that they're trying to raise about 5.4 billion pesos, including the primary, the secondary, and the over-allotment shares that are included in this IPO as well. And if you're also asking how can you take part of this IPO, first you need a brokerage, you need to open an online platform for you to be able to participate in this IPO. And I'll say this also over and over, that once the shares are listed, it's up to the market forces also to determine whether it will go up or down. That's why if your goal is to invest in the stock market, your goal is to invest in companies, focus on the value, focus on what the company is, because if the company is good, if the price goes down, it gives you the ability to be able to sleep well at night, because you know that you are investing in a good company. And should it also go down in price, also it allows you to have the ability to buy it at a cheaper price, because people can make whatever forecasts or predictions that they have, but no one can ultimately decide how the price will go, how the price will be over a certain period of time, over a week, over a month, over a year. No one has a crystal ball on how it could possibly play out. And the best that you can actually do as investors is to study the fundamentals of the company to know if it's actually good or not. Now, that being said, out of the total number of shares that will be sold in the IPO, 20% of that would be made available to trading partners in the PSE or brokerages. But if you're just starting out also and you want exposure into this and you want to come in also without putting a large amount of capital, you can try the LSI program, the Local Small Investors Program of the PSE, which allows you to be able to enter and try this without really shelling out a large amount of money. I'll put details down below also on how you can join the LSI program should you want to invest in this IPO. That being said, let's look at some important dates for this particular IPO. So the price would be set on February 28, 2023, while for its offer period, it starts at March 6 and ends at March 10, 2023. And Upson will be listed in the Philippine Stock Exchange by March 16, 2023. Basically, to put this video to a close and give you my thoughts on this, the company checks in a lot of fronts. First of all, I'm a customer. Second, they have brand. In the world of investing, in the world of business, brand is everything. Brand represents the promise of them delivering. And when you look at it also from a customer standpoint, customers normally go to brands that they know, and undoubtedly Octagon is one of the biggest brands out there, and all of their other brands also have built a reputation also through the years. And what's interesting about that is I've been hammering this over and over that if you want to invest in something, always invest in the market leader. It would be relatively harder to beat the market leader, especially for competitors who are relatively smaller. So it has brand and it's a market leader. Not just that, it has a very, very competent leadership team. They have a track record that they know what they're doing. Number 4, the company's massively expanding. They've already built a template. It took them 27 years to go from 0 stores to 100 plus stores, and now they're building 250 stores in the next 3 to 5 years. And above and beyond that, the proceeds of the IPO would be used for expansion. So if you're asking me what are the things that I like about it, brand, they're the market leader, competent executive team that knows what they're doing, they're rapidly expanding, the proceeds of the IPO would be used for expansion. And if you look at the sales and you look at the net income from 2019, 2020, 2021, they have been increasing. So lastly, to drive this point further, what makes Upson very interesting is that they're retail with a hedge. And we've seen that time and time again, even during the pandemic, even during the strictest lockdowns, that because they are selling gadgets, things that Filipinos need to work at home, things that people need to be productive, they have shown resiliency and have the ability to make money even in the toughest and most uncertain of times. And Upson's distinct retail advantage is a hedge to a lot of investors who are looking for these types of investments. So I want to know your thoughts as well. Is this something that you like? If you guys have any questions off of this, put it down in the comment section below and we'll try our best to make videos to be able to answer your questions. Or if I have the ability to be able to answer them quickly, put it down below and I'll try my best to answer them. And I hope that this is something that gave you enough insight to be able to learn more about the company. And I hope that this is something also that pushes you, to be able to research, because at the end of the day, I'll say this over and over, the strength of any investment, the strength of any investor is you taking the time to research, taking the time to learn more about the fundamentals of the company, how good the company is. But I hope that this gave you enough insight, that this gave you enough understanding, that this gave you also conviction to actually take the time to research and learn more about it. So that's it for now. This is Marvin Germo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, and God bless you all.